Good morning, everyone. Clearly, the market did not like those numbers, not as drastic as Tuesday's. Um, there's a little technical bounce here. I guess that's leaves a little hope uh, for a reversal. Things aren't as bad. We'll see. Um, it came, excuse me, spiders came down close to that 500 level. Didn't quite get there. A little bit of support. Let's see here. Yeah, you can see it came down on the 15-minute chart in the middle of that range. So a little bit of a technical bounce. Typically there is. And we'll see where things are in another 25 minutes. This is coming down to a look at the futures to get a better view on that. But that little area right there, which isn't much, but we'll see if it rolls over in the typical place that it would, which is between here and here. Um, well, initially not so bad as far as where it is right now. Um, gapping, well, again, where the low was about the middle of that bar, that green bar. Um, bottom line is, as we always say, it's the end of the day, and today is going to be more important than other days. It's the end of the week as to where this closes, meaning wherever this opens up in the next few minutes. Uh, from a bearish point of view, closing at or below yesterday's low is going to confirm a retest of that topping tail and then a reversal bar, which will be bearish, black and white. Um, if it closes wherever it opens, if it closes up near here, well, it still doesn't make things comfortable, but it's the beginnings of, hey, can this thing go sideways at a bearish bar? That's the essence of this. Of course, can it move? Does it move up? It's going to be a touchy open, and we'll see how other things are reacting. For example, how much data we have here on XLF that broke out yesterday. So, of course, that's another positive for the markets. Where was this? Gapping down. So we want to see where financials are at and what they do. Um, how much does this gap down, and then where does it close? Since it's a breakout bar out of a consolidation, any move today or next week under this wide range breakout bar is going to be bearish, black and white. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. A lot of things turned around yesterday. Materials, this dip, that moved down, right back up again. That's a positive. We don't get much data here, but that's a positive. IWM came roaring back. That's a huge positive. Now, where's that? Gapping below this bar, that green bar. So this is essentially just not a technical name. Let's just call it a giant mess for now. We're going to see where this all unfolds. This is already coming back down a little bit. Gapping to the bottom of a wide range bar is bad and it's bearish. Longs stepped up here in a big way. And, retracing that far after that gap down, black and white is positive. Where this closes today, or it almost doesn't, I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. Obviously we'd like to see a bearish bar, a bullish bar, recovering from the gap down with this overall bottoming pattern and recovering from the gap. As I said, overall, it's going to be messy until we get more information as to how this unfolds, where this closes. Maybe by the middle of next week to see where if prices are consolidating up here or whether they're right back down here again. So uh, I don't, I don't know. Of course, I don't know. Where today ends, I'm looking at the weekly bar, which is Obviously, it's not done, but what this bar looks like, what every bar looks like at the end of the week in uh, alignment with what is so this move up, is this becoming an M top? Right now, you would say, I don't know, I need another bar. But if this closes, say, under 200, it's going to look more like an M top, below the opening price, tail on the top. And it's conceivable that that's possible in thinking that, if it opens up down here, this unfilled gap will be a support area. You can see right here, where buyers may step up to see if they can lift it off or whether it moves lower from there. SPX has got an insane number, and I'm questioning whether this is right. Just looking at it again. Yeah, it's 50-70. It seems insane. But maybe after yesterday's move, I would say it's virtually impossible to get there today. With this gap down, let's say it is in the middle of the range, to rally back up there. There's some information coming out, but it would have to be like, wow. Michigan consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock and inflation expectations. I don't know if it's even relevant at this point with today's numbers. There's a Fed guy speaking at 9:10, which is another minute. And we'll see what he's going to say about that. That could turn things around or tank them, I suppose. Whatever's going to come out of his mouth in the next 10 or 15 minutes, just to see where things are at by the open. So obviously he's going to comment on these numbers that just came out. So things can change a lot by the time the market's open. And the Qs are positive on the day. Big nasty drop, but indecisive bar anyway. I don't think it means very much that they're positive. Well, it has some meaning. It turned positive. I don't know I'll have to see what stocks are moving when I'm done talking here. But, it came down to this pivot low on the hourly chart. It's a technical bounce. A wide range bar down. It's bearish, short term here, suggesting a possible move down here. So here's our relevant intraday support for today. S&P's relevant intraday support, popped up here a little bit, wide range bar igniting, factory work. Here's minor resistance as it stay in the lower half of the bar. Back down here, this is where buyers are going to show up, and they'll see if they hold it or not. 5,000 on SPX. Big open interest expiring today. And it's even more than today, the next expiration. So whether it holds here or not, or moving down below that, or staying below it for a while, closing below it. Obviously, if we have a bar that even opens here and it closes down here, and you look at the pattern, you don't even have to know about the open interest, but that has the potential to start driving prices lower. Interest rates, clearly a big negative, but so far, it's not above this high. But think about this pattern: wide range bar up, pull back, right back up again, top of the wide range bar. This starts moving up. Markets are not going to, embrace that. It's going to be bearish. Well, yeah, that big open interest, and there's a big open interest in puts and calls. So, the theoretical is that, hey, it's an option expiration. They could pin it there. And, because of those two opposing forces, it'll just get stuck there today. But that's a thought. We're going to see what happens if it gets there and what the reaction is. And then, from there, maybe it's just going to whipsaw around that number today. And we'll have to wait for next week to really see, what kind of follow through there is after the option expiration. And Monday's holiday, so we'll have a lot of time to digest, and everyone else will, what is going to happen. But I think just for today, just take note of that big open interest in bearish options and bullish options, and um, it's going to have an influence for sure. Uh, doesn't look so bad. It's whippy, you know. And as I look at this, moving down like that, but big recovery so far, top part of the range. Yeah, it's erratic, but still, somewhat constructive. Again, same story. We'll see where this is as far as, does it stay in the upper part here? This retracement, coming right back up to the top of that bar. Maybe it goes sideways and we get another sideways correction. So look, we don't know. We don't have a pattern here. First of all, we've got opposing information in different time frames, which confuses things. Versus if this was going sideways for a few days and we had a bottoming tail bar in one of them where it broke a low, and we'd all be saying that's got to go up. Right now, it's like, what's going to happen here? Negative, positive, neutral, at resistance. Where does it go from here? Bitcoin's extended, could pull back a bit. More negatively is oil. So far, bullish price action at the top of the range. So if oil should break out from here and interest rates go higher, everything starts becoming more expensive, which then leads to more thoughts that the Fed is not going to lower interest rates as many had expected. And of course, the dollar, you can see that's up. Not a good thing. So all those three pieces of information, moving higher, then leads back to, not only will the Fed not lower interest rates. Remember what we talked about here at the beginning of the week. Now it pulled back. Now it's coming back up again. If this should stay up here, the thought of, oh my God, could they possibly be thinking of a quarter point increase? So look, there's a lot of uncertainty. That's what we spoke about yesterday. It's still there. We'll see what unfolds in the next hours, into the beginning of next week. This option expiration will get out of the way, and we'll have a better insight as to what to expect after that. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Happy Zero GTE Day. And it's also monthly expiration, so that, I don't think it's a big deal. Triple and quarter, much more volatile. I don't have many alarms going off at all. Let's look at earnings. A lot of big movers yesterday. Here are a couple I have on my hit list this morning for zero DTE call spread. Look at coin here. Anything that rallies this much, now you're gapping up to major resistance. 10-minute low. This looks great. I just looked at the premiums closing prices, and you could have done $1 for the 220s yesterday. That's where they closed at. So this thing was priced for a big old move. I was out yesterday afternoon, so I didn't look at earnings, but that's on my hit list. AMAT, same gap and crap. See, it's already off $6 from the opening print. And my chart started at 8 a.m. trade station. But that's gap and crap candidate, SMCI, that we started playing with yesterday. It's still not ready to swing short, but we were selling the 1210s yesterday. So I'll be curious on what they open up at, just because they're insane. But 30-minute low, I'll consider going out the next week just because they're so frigging jacked. And you'll have some additional risk because cousin Nvidia is reporting next week. Nvidia, let's say that this one's more bullish and then SMSI in terms of it's had a few pit stops, few red bars ignored, gapping up here to 15 resistance. That, believe it or not, 30-minute high could be a day trade, but I think I like Greg's term. The market's a big old mess here. I mean, we're up 3 days at resistance. So are we really going to have a lot of horsepower to blast higher after this negative inflation? I don't see it. So I like Greg's SPX idea, zero DTE credit spread. All right, earnings. Let's go. Oh, I had a PVH alarm go off right here, 130. We're long this. So if it is opening at 130, we'll be taking half profits. Libertia, yeah, this and Liberta K, so just sister companies, whatever. See one print up here, but this is a double bottom. We'll be talking about Climos and W bottoms in a month or so. We put it on the calendar for MT Live. But this is a Climo. Now this is a retest. It's not earnings, but charters on my list for the same. Climo, retest. I have an alarm at 296 on that. HR, no pattern. No, you can't change. This slight volume, but nice, beautiful trading range into the rising 50. Bravo, I see one gap. I ignore pre-market unless I can see candlesticks. That was a bullish breakout trading range, but gapping up's too big. Axel Foley, ABR, that's a beautiful 15-minute. Whenever we look at pre-market charts, that's beautiful because it's the same chart as if the market were open. It's a wide range igniting, 1, 2, 3, 4. But gap's too big. My target would have been high 13s. A6, that's a big old sloppy W bottom. That maybe 30-minute high, poor, gap's too big. PPL flat, another sloppy W bottom, put spread idea. DMC up $11, gap's too big. Dash 115 and change. Call spread idea, gapping under a green bar. Dunking, slop. Texas Roadhouse, restaurants have been strong. Gap's too big. For me, 950, gap's too big to the downside. Boeing, we talked about, call spread. 140 call spread, gapping under a green bar. I just don't think there'll be any juice. Open. I set an alarm at 340. See if it can negate this gap down, because then it's a potential bottoming pattern. 2200. Skip, no pattern or gap. Tossed. There's a bullish gap. Let's watch that on the pullback, gapping over an ugly red bar. No prints. AMN 69, big ugly bearish gap. bearish, I have no idea how to get on board yet. GEHC, I don't think this is earnings. I think it did a secondary offering. But that's a bearish gap in their green bar. But we were talking about the last 2, 3, 4 days. This is a bull rectangle. That's that General Electric spinoff. S wave, bullish, need a pullback. Trup's getting whacked. That's a nasty gap, but no pattern. Rare these are in the medical field. I don't know if that's a bio though. Alpha Lima, gap's too big, but bullish all time frames. IR, same, could be a short-term exhaustion gap. That could be a call spread, Rider, not Rider, India Romeo, if there's any juice. Gap's too big. AMAT we talked about. Dropbox getting whacked. That's a nasty gap on Dropbox. Let's see what it does around this 200. Glob trading range, but I'm going to set an alarm at 241. Well, it shows it at 230. So that, all right, we'll just come back a little video and a little bit of opening flat, no pattern, but it's a buy setup on the weekly. Poor, 43 bucks, gap's too big, but nice bottoming pattern. Roku, we were short to 77 puts. We did an earnings trade because of bullish monthly. We'll just manage it, but that's a nasty gap on old Roku. TTD, that could be a 0 DTE. It's not a typical exhaustion type of gap, but it's just, I call it excessive on earnings and profit taking and high call premiums. So that's another one I'm going to watch. I mean, this is coming out of a base, so I would only consider 0 DTE. Yelp, that's nasty. Wow, look at that weekly breakdown. That's nasty. All right, those are all the earnings. CCOP, I just saw as Greg was talking. What the heck? Look at this rocket ship. Pre-market. I'm just curious what the news would be. I mean, I really don't care, but I'm just curious. What would make something rip from $1.33 to $8.50? Wow. Toss we talked about. All right, those are all my earnings. Let's look at leftover trades fast. I have an alarm at 70.30. That's a beautiful consolidation and an uptrend. Schwab, I have an alarm up here somewhere, swapping around. Ideally, we'll get a 1, 2, 3 for Tuesday. The reason I say Tuesday is Monday is holiday. Estee Lauder, I got an alarm up there somewhere. T Tango, looked like it was making the turn, topping tail. Let's set an alarm at 17:15. CPOP. No news to justify it. Oh, wow, 7 million. Man, that is crazy. If I had to guess, and it's just a fun guess, is all buyout rumors. That's you got to think of what would make people go into a friggin' frenzy like that. Baxter, nice wide range. This would be a beautiful 1, 2, 3. I'm going to set an alarm 41:15. Greg, your mic. Here's another. This is not a Climo, even though it's far from the 20. But it's a bottoming pattern after a catastrophic. This he got hit by a truck when he was walking to happy hour, and now he just got out of intensive care, still in the hospital. But that's what that is. Oil was ripping yesterday. So here's a couple. That's a big old double bottom. Lynn, wide range closing breakout. RF, sloppy. Charlie Echo. See what it does today. And BBWI closing breakout. See what it does. Moreau, bottoming pattern, wide range bar, another oil. EMN could be a 82 put spread over yesterday's high. EFX closing breakout. That's gapping down, which I like. Let's set an alarm at 260. That looks great. Closing breakouts. And then if we get that 1, 2, 3 for Tuesday, that would be Van friggin' tastic. APD we just talked about. Golf Delta, that's on Alex on your list. SPG, I just posted as a put spread. Yesterday's high, but 50% gap down. It's not good. Boundary, I think this is you, Alex. Yep. Breakaway. Up alarm just went off. CBX, 15-minute high to me. Yeah, that's fine. DAKT. PVH did get up. Let's see what our cost basis is. PVH. Yeah, let's move stuff break even. First third target 130.50. Horizon low alarm, but that's an early alarm. Let me look in it. PVH. I'm gonna get this updated. We're still in trail mode, JB Hunt. This SMCI, I wanted to see what the premiums were. The premiums, so Greg's, I mean, this is just a great case study. So so it gapped up 50 something dollars, and the 12/10 calls are the same price as they closed at because they expired today. So you can pop them right now for $1.30 bid, and they're extremely liquid. And there's already 794 volume today.